All right. Hello, everybody. Let's get started in a comfortable seat. um, Before we begin, I want to make sure that you either have a block, which just lets you know you can get them at Marshall's, TJ Maxx, like $5, order on Amazon. Really helpful. If not, maybe some of you all will have this Dave Pelt's Putting Bible, which is a nice hard bound book, but any hardcover book you can use as well, something that's a nice size so that when you need it for a little bit of support, you can use that book. So if you don't have a block, a book will do. And then a strap. I don't personally have a true yoga strap. This is actually an old belt. It's one of those canvas belts. It's not as long as ideally you would want, but for me personally and my flexibility, it is perfect. And so if you don't have a strap, again, you can get them super cheap. Yoga's coming out everywhere. So you can find them at any of those other stores, Amazon. You can also use a belt like I am, an old tie, your bathrobe, tie string, something that's long, that's cloth, that's flexible. So you want those two props for class today. But let's get started in a comfortable seat, just sitting down nice and tall. And so if you cannot sit comfortably on the ground, you can use your block or your book, place it underneath the hips, helps tilt our pelvis, helps us sit up even taller. And so really just closing the eyes or finding a gaze down on the ground and just take the time to settle in. Notice your surroundings and try to let them go. And tuning into your space and tuning into the sound of my voice, maybe any music you have playing in the background. And coming into your mat here, getting ready for the next hour or so to take this time for yourself. And so start to bring the awareness to the breath. Inhaling for a count of 3 or 4. Exhaling for a count of 3 or 4. Inhaling and exhaling. And creating this even rhythm we want to keep throughout class. It is one of our most powerful tools. It truly helps calm our body, calms our nervous system. It gets our body out of that fight and flight mode. And it tells our muscles that we want to do this. It calms them. We're trying to build strength as well as flexibility. And so keeping with this breath keeps your mind and your body calm, even in some uncomfortable poses. And so remember, I am going to look different than you're probably going to look. We never push for pain, we try for sensation. And so working with your alignment first and trying to get as close into the pose as you can so you can breathe. And so take this time to drop the ego, come back into yourself, and set an intention. I like I am statements. I inhale, I am. Exhale, a quality I'm working on. I'm healthy, strong, capable, loved. And keeping that mantra, working with the breath, helps you stay with your breath. And on your next inhale, gently start to flutter the eyes open. And we're gonna start with some seated breath work just to tune in. And so making sure you're comfortable how you're seated. If you need to switch your position, please do so. Switch your legs around. I'm gonna put my other foot in front. It's gonna feel a little bit different, but it's gonna help open up the other side of my hip. And so pulling the elbows in, sitting up nice and tall, checking in with the belly. As we inhale, we open the hands out. Exhale, come back to center. And so inhale and open, back to center. And 3 more, working with your breath, trying to create this moving meditation. And 2, working your last one. When you're finished, bringing the fingertips down by your side. And so walk the arms out as wide as you can. Relax the shoulders down. Think about the ears growing tall away from them. And so we're going to drop our right ear over towards our right shoulder. Maybe walking the left fingertips out a little bit. Maybe bringing the right hand to the head. And staying with that breath and lengthening the side. And 2 more. And releasing the hand down, tucking the chin to the chest, sitting up nice and tall. Now rolling the left ear over the left shoulder. Maybe you walk the right fingertips out. Notice the difference, just bringing the awareness into our body, feeling the difference, not judging it, but using the breath to allow it to relax. Maybe bringing the hand to the head. This is my tight side. I guess you could have done that before. Remember, you are the master. I'm just your guide. And bringing the hand back down and tucking the chin to the chest. And bringing the chin back to center. And so we're going to inhale, reach the arms up to the sky, get long in the side body. Exhale, palms out, swim down, tuck the chin. Oops. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, swim down. And 2 more. Reaching up, really grow the side bodies, lengthen up through the shoulders, and swimming down, tucking the chin, getting fully into the neck. Last one. And down. As you come down, interlace the hands behind you, bringing the hands to the low back, and now bring them over to the right side. And now, again, we're going to drop the right ear over towards the right shoulder. And feeling this more now into the shoulder as it's coming all the way back behind. And now play around with bringing the elbow out to the side, or do you want to pull it back? And so just noticing the difference, whichever way feels better for you. Neither is right or wrong. And tuck the chin to the chest, hands back to the low back. Maybe extend them out and lengthen, bringing the hands away from the body. Feeling a little more into the triceps. And now bringing the hands back to the low back and over towards our left hip. And so now left hip, left ear over the left shoulder. And again, see what feels better. It feels different. Elbow out or elbow back. And slow and steady, lengthening the muscles. And coming back to center, tucking the chin to the chest, reach the arms down towards the earth, pull them away from the body. Pull the belly in. If you feel safe, start to round the back, lifting the arms up.
Really getting into the shoulders, tuck the chin more. As far as you feel safe, like you're not going to fall on the face, okay? It's using the belly to keep you up. And start by bringing the hands back to the back and then round up. Uncrossing the arms, reach them out wide. And now big hug, right arm on top. Walk the fingertips around as close as you can to the spine. Lifting the elbows up and pulling them away. Maybe tuck the chin in, really rounding, opening up, spreading the collarbones, the shoulder blades. And open the arms up as wide as you can, bring them back as far as you can, and switch sides. Left arm comes down on top, walk the fingertips back, elbows up and away. Maybe tucking the chin in. And open again. Bring the palms back as far as you can. And back to center. A couple little shoulder rolls. Whew. Warm them up. And now we're going to make our way into tabletop position. And so if you were sitting on your block, bring your block back to the top of your mat. We're going to use it later there. And your strap can just stay down the side of the mat. And so taking the time, stack the knees under the hips, hands underneath your shoulders, pull the navel in to protect our back. And now we're going to work all the way up through the spine. So as you inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze for cow. And exhale, round. Tuck the chin and tailbone. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. And exhale and round. Do about 3 more on your breath. Really try to articulate all the way up through the vertebra. We're as young as our spine. We want to take care of it. We want to love on it. And 2 more. Last one. And round, and after you find that last cat, find your neutral spine. Let's bring our knees or toes together, knees wide, sinking back to child's pose. Come up onto the wrists, the fingertips, reaching the arms long. Now start to walk the hands over towards the right side of your mat. Maybe the left fingertips a little farther so you can get into that left shoulder. And come back to center. And over towards the left side, reaching the right fingertips farther. Coming back to center and pulling back forward to tabletop position. So we're going to keep our legs wide, turn the elbow creases forward. And so we're going to work tricep push-ups. A lot of times in yoga, we're pulling the elbows back so they hug along the side body. So we want the elbows to come back towards the ribs. So we're not going to lower all the way, but the bottom's going to stay in the air. We're pulling our belly in to protect the back. Gaze is forward. Taking an inhale. As you exhale, bend the elbows back as low as you can and press back up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, back up. And 2 more. Try to keep the elbows tucked in and press up. Last time, elbows in, press up, tuck back to child's pose. And so again, reaching long, sinking the hips down. Inhaling back forward to tabletop. And switching our knees back underneath our hips. And now send your right leg back. Keep the toes on the ground. Press back through your heel while you're pulling the heart forward. Long line of energy. The right kneecap is lifted, turning the quad on. And now start to hover the heel up off the ground. Keep the leg active, being long. And now as you're ready, start to float the left fingertips forward. Thumb to the sky. Widen the fingers. And so we're going to inhale, making a fist. Exhale, open up the hand. Inhale, fist. Exhale, open. One more time. Fist and open. Lengthen again. Bring your hand back down to the ground. Bend your knee, flexing the foot towards the sky. And so check in with the belly. Make sure you're not arched. Pull the navel in. Protect your back. Inhale here. Exhale, knee comes out to the side. Back to center. Open the knee out to the side. And center. Open out to the side. Stay here. Extend that leg, straightening it as much as you can. Flexing that foot. Breathing. Another inhale. And now lower the foot down to the ground. Toes face towards the top of your mat. And start to walk your hands back towards your knee. Open up across the chest and tip over towards that straight leg, reaching the left arm up to the sky. Maybe look up towards the sky, getting into the neck. Next inhale, we reach both arms up. And come back to our tabletop position and pulling the right knee back in. So same leg. And send that right leg back behind you, hovering the knee up, the leg up. Pull the belly in, breathe in, and now knee to your nose, round and find that cat back. Extend the leg, knee to nose. Extend. Knee to your nose, really squeeze it in so you can place that foot between your hands and coming upright. And so we want, ideally, the knee and the ankle on top of one another when we step forward. And so we're going to curl the back toes under. And so it's all about using that foot. We're going to engage our legs. Hands can come to your hips. We're going to press back through the left heel, lifting that back knee. And so looking in front of you is going to be the easiest. Squeeze the glutes. Inhale. As we exhale, we dip. Inhale, back up. Exhale, dip. Lift and dip. Lift. Two more. Dip. Lift. Last one. Dip. Lift. Look forward, step that foot up a little bit so you can plant your heel down. And so we worked that foot by lifting the leg, but getting a little bit more, starting with our balance too. We're gonna just peel the heel up and lower down. And lift and lower. And lift and lower. Two more. Lift. Lower. Last one. Lift. Lower. Sorry, we got to lift again because we have to stay upright, pressing in through the toe, lifting that heel. See if you can get the heel as high over the toes, bending into the right leg, angling forward, reaching the arms forward. Our Superman, Superwoman, lifting that kneecap on that left leg, very active in the leg, breathing all the way through, and now hover the left foot up off of the ground. Not very high, like an inch or two, so you're still keeping this long form. And we're gonna bring our hands to our heart. You're gonna start to look down at that block, and we're gonna begin to lower the hands down to the block. Really getting into the hamstring stretch On the right leg, working our standing splits. So you can bring your gaze down and back behind at that left leg. Breathing, staying with your breath, working our balance. One more, inhale. The left foot comes down to meet the right. Halfway lift, fold forward. Sweep all the way up to stand, reaching up tall and arms down by our side. And so bring your feet hip distance. Let's check our stance. Engage the legs, tuck the tailbone under, engage the core, and we're gonna find our cactus arms. And so really trying to get the elbows as high as our shoulders, hands over our elbows, wide fingers, pull the belly in, take a breath in. As you exhale, twist to the right, really pulling in the belly, breathe in, exhale, open the arms, twist them more. Maybe look back over that back shoulder. Check in again with the core. Next inhale brings you all the way back to center, reaching the arms up, and then finding our cactus arms again. And so pull the core in, tuck the tailbone, inhale. As you exhale, you twist to the left. Inhale. As we exhale, we open the arms, bringing the gaze back behind us, really twisting, reaching from fingertip to fingertip. Inhaling back up to center, reaching the arms up, and hands come back down to our hips. And so we're gonna want the block to kind of stay at the top of the mat, so don't move it too far. But we're gonna send our left foot forward a little bit, and we're gonna come to the heel. And now sink into chair pose on the right leg. And so starting with our balance, so we're finding a nice bent leg. We're still using the left leg for support, but tuck the tailbone, pull the navel in. You can keep the hands at your hips and bring the hands to your heart. If you want to work the shoulders a little more, you can reach them up. And so finding your gaze, your drishti, we're going to inhale, lift the left heel, and exhale, lower. Lift, lower, lift, and lower. One more time, lift and lower. Keep the bend in the right knee. Can you bend the left foot? Come back to chair pose. Reaching the arms up and folding forward. Halfway lift and fold. And sweep all the way up to stand. Reaching tall, arms down by our side. Inhale, sweep up and fold forward. Halfway lift. Plant your hands, step back, high plank. Holding here, finding your strong body. Press the heels back, lift the kneecaps. Pressing back through the hands so we puff up the shoulders. Breathing. One more breath in. We lower the knees down for tabletop. And so making sure you stack your foundation. Now sending the left leg back, toes on the ground, pressing back through the heel, pulling the heart forward. Lift the kneecap, and now start to hover that leg up off the ground. Reaching the right arm forward as we're ready, really extending long. And so keeping the engagement, working the hand. And so inhale, make a fist. Exhale, open up. Inhale, fist. Exhale, open. One more. Fist, open. Bring the hand back down. Bend the knee, flex the foot. So check in with the back. Make sure we don't arch. Tuck the tailbone. Turn on the thigh. Inhale. Exhale, we open the knee out. Back to center. Open the knee out. Back to center. Last time we open, stay here. Extend your leg, flex the foot, hold, And now lower it down. Start to walk your hands back towards the knee, coming upright, opening up across the chest, and tipping over, reaching the right arm to the sky. Maybe the gaze comes up, getting into the neck a little here. Inhale, both arms up, and we come back to our tabletop position, pulling the left knee in. And drop your belly, lift your gaze. Exhale, round for cat. One more time, drop the belly, lift the gaze. And exhale, we round. And so we send our left leg long, hovering it up off the ground, pulling the belly in, flexing the foot, breath in. Now knee to your nose, round. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, we tuck under. Lengthen. And tuck, squeeze it in and plant that left foot between your hands, coming upright. Hands to our hips. Again, this starts with our balance here as we curl those back toes under. Look down on the ground. Press back through the heel, coming up for our high lunge. And so dip down, lift up. And dip, and lift, and dip, and lift. Two more. And dip, and lift. Last one. And dip, and lift. Find your drishti so you can step the foot up just a little bit. Both heels are planted. And inhale, peel the heel. Exhale, lower. And lift. And lower, and lift, and lower. Two more, lift, lower. Last one, staying here, pressing into the ground. Start with all that engagement, slight bend in the left leg, long all the way through the right side as we reach the arms up. It's all about creating that engagement, lifting the kneecap, turning on the thigh. Now start to hover the right toes just an inch up off the ground. Keep that Barbie doll foot, pressing those toes back down through the earth. Hands are gonna come to our heart. We're gonna look down towards our block and start to hinge forward, bringing the hand down for standing splits, the hamstring stretch. So relax your head, bring your gaze back towards your toes. And again, notice the difference from the right side to the left. Is there one? Maybe you're blessed and it's a little more equal, but most of us have different from side to side. One more inhale. We lower that foot down to meet the other and finding a halfway lift. And fold forward. Sweep all the way up to stand, reaching up tall. And Tadasana, arms down by our side. And so moving the block out of the way a little bit, gonna get into a couple flows before we lie down to the mat. Just kidding, we're gonna sink into chair and sending our right foot forward. And so we want that nice bent leg, pulling the belly in, tucking the tailbone, finding our drishti. And so now we hover the right foot and lower down. And hover up, and lower down. And lift, and lower. And lift, and lower. Now bend that foot back for chair pose. Take a peek down at your toes. Sink more weight into your knees. Tuck the tailbone, lift the heart, and reach the arms to the sky. Chair. And so find some strength here. Feel the warmth, especially in that left thigh. Can you embrace it? Can you breathe into it? Can you put more weight into the heels? Lift your toes. Breath in, fold forward. Halfway lift. Plant the hands, step back, high plank. And full breath in.
Lower all the way down to the ground as you exhale, pressing the tops of the feet into the earth, squeezing the elbows back by the ribs. Inhale, peel the chest up. Exhale, we lower down. Inhale, we lift up. Exhale, we lower down. 2 more. Lift, lower, lift, lower. Last one, hold here. Stay lifted. Squeeze the elbows back, tuck the chin. Maybe lift the hands. Squeezing back, breath in. We lower the forehead back to the ground. Press up to tabletop. Widen the knees, toes together, sinking the hips back for child's pose. Come back to the breath. Breathing in through the whole back body. And letting go of anything that you're holding on to. And trying to melt the hips a little closer to the heels. Maybe come up onto the fingertips, walk them a little bit more forward. Seeing if you can get into the back. About 3 more breaths here. And pull forward to tabletop position. And stacking the knees under the hips. And drop our belly, lift our gaze. And exhale and round. One more time. Drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale and round. And finding the neutral spine, curling those toes under, sending your hips high for downward facing dog. And so taking the time to make any movements you need here, bending the knees, really lifting the hips up, lengthening the back. And of all of the work we've done today, first downward facing dog. So breathe into it, press into the fingers, melting the heart back towards the legs. Next, inhale, look towards your hands and start to make your way to the top of your mat. And for a halfway lift, fold forward, sweep all the way up to stand, reaching up tall, arms down by your side. Inhale, sweep up, and fold forward. Halfway lift, plant the hands, step back, high plank. Strong in our body. Pulling the belly in. Opportunity to flow here, lowering down, doing your back bend. I'm going to hold plank. Our next exhale, we'll all be back in downward facing dog. Look up towards your hands. As you exhale, make your way to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Fold forward. Sweep all the way up to stand, reaching up tall. And hands come to our heart. And stepping our right foot back for warrior 1. And so those back toes are at like 2 o'clock. Our front toes are at 12. Sinking into that front leg, strong in the back. Hips are towards the front. And so we're going to keep our left hand at our left hip. We're going to reach our right arm forward, thumb to the sky. And so pull the belly in and really ground down through the pinky side of that back foot. And start to reach your right arm forward. And as that right arm comes forward, that left shoulder goes back. But bring the left hip with it. So then we can pull this twist all the way from the front part of that right leg, hip flexor,
Maybe your gaze goes back over that shoulder. Keep bending into your front leg. If you want, you can open up, but that's tight on the shoulder. You can keep it right at the back. Next inhale, we come back to center, reaching the arms to the sky, and now bringing them down by our side. And coming to the ball of that back foot, peel the heel up, look forward, and get ready to lift up for airplane, hovering that back foot up. And so as you start to come up, pull that right knee in towards your chest. See if you can pull it up into the belly, grab onto it, press down through that left foot, stand up nice and tall. And then we lower the right foot down to meet the left. Inhale, reach the arms up and fold forward. Halfway lift and fold. Sweeping all the way up to stand, reaching up, hands come to our heart. And stepping our left foot back for warrior one. And so again, checking out that back foot, making sure it's at 11 o'clock, front toes are forward. And we can bring our hands to our hips because we want the hips forward, really pushing through that knife side, twisting the leg around. Good bend in the front leg. Right hand stays at our hip, right hip keeps coming back while we reach the left arm forward. And pull the belly in and start to reach as you open and twist towards the right. Bring some awareness from side to side. Maybe you bring your gaze back over that shoulder. Keep the navel pulled in and up. It's where our twist is coming from. Bending into that front leg. Inhale, back to center, arms up, and then we sweep them down by our side. And so lifting that heel, coming to the ball of the back foot, find your gaze. We're going to find our airplane. Hovering that leg up. Now carefully start to bring that left knee forward, pulling it up into the chest, grabbing on, lifting up, lowering it down. And giving it a little shake out. Breath in, reach up, and fold forward. Halfway lift. We're just gonna bend our knees, lower the hips down to the ground. You guys did awesome. We're on the ground now. And so finding our sits bones, legs out long. And so staff pose, Dandasana, engaging the legs. Hands down by your side, hands in your lap. Roll the shoulders back, all about sitting up nice and tall. Pull the belly in and up. Protect our low back. Shoulders are relaxed down. Think about squeezing the shoulder blades together so the heart is coming forward. All of our muscles are engaged. We're working here. We're breathing. 3 breaths. And 2. Last one. Inhale. Stay for that exhale. And then relax and shake it out. And find your strap, your belt, whatever you have handy around the house, bringing it around the balls of the feet, lifting up the chest again, belly's pulled in, hinge at your belly, and then round and come forward. The shoulders away from our ears, breathing from the heels all the way up to the top of the head. Inhaling back upright, removing the strap, keeping it close by our side. We're going to pull our right foot in And sitting up nice and tall. Now taking the right foot over the knee. And so checking in, we want to make sure that our big toe can touch the ground. If it can't, we can always come back here and we'll work the flexibility. And so big toes down, we're working that knee in. So you can stay with the leg straight, or you can try to bend the leg back, but make sure you're not sitting on your foot. And so again, come back to sitting tall, pulling the knee in. And now keep a hold with the left hand, right hand behind you, you twist. Right knee keeps coming towards that left shoulder. Every inhale, we lengthen the spine. Exhale, we wring out the belly. And 2 more breaths here. Last inhale. Stay for the exhale. And come back to center and find the counter twist the other way. And coming back to center. And so finding our cow face pose. So if you have both legs bent, it might just be to let that knee go and try to stack the knee on top of one another. We have our legs straight. We're still stacking the knee on top of one another. And so it's about softening in this pose. Everything is just melting down. We'll close the eyes, come back to your breath, and trying to slow it down, soften it. We did some work in the beginning of class. We warmed the muscles up, and we're going to stretch them a little bit. You can always come forward for a little more sensation. But this is where it's important to stay with the breath. We don't want to hold the breath. It's hindering the flexibility. We have to be able to breathe into it to lengthen the muscles. And 3 more breaths. And so carefully start to uncross the legs. Bring the feet wide and let both knees go to the right side. And come back to center, lower down onto the back. And we're going to bring our right foot onto that left knee and finding figure 4. And so really pulling the knee in. Breathing into the right hip. If we can't grab onto the thigh here, we can always use our strap behind the leg, or you can keep the foot down or use your block or your book just to raise that foot a little bit, and so that you can really stay a little bit more relaxed. And so we really want the shoulders, the head, the jaw, all to soften down. About 5 more breaths here. So we're going to release our bind. We're going to start to pull the right knee into the chest, extending the left leg long. Feel the hips on the floor, the low back on the floor. And take the right shin into your left hand. Right arm goes out to the side and pull the knee across the body for the twist. If you want a little into the IT, the outer hip, you can try to extend your right leg. Keep it hovered off of the ground. The point isn't to come down to the ground, it's just to feel the sensation in the outer part of the hip. Keeping the right shoulder on the ground. And come back to center, pulling that right knee in. Now start to hover that left leg up off of the ground. And pulling our nose up towards our knee. And now reach your fingers forward. And so trying to keep the legs perfectly still, just peel the shoulders up, reaching towards your feet. And 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, 1. Now try to rock and roll back up to seated. And so we're going to switch our legs, sending our left leg long, right leg long, pulling in our left leg, a little tongue-tied today. And now again, we're going to cross it over. And so it's all about if that toe, big toe, can plant down. And then maybe you see if you can swing this leg back behind you. And so pulling the knee in towards center, sitting up tall, relaxing the shoulders down. And now going for the twist. So keeping a hold with the right hand, left hand behind us. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, we twist. One more. Inhale. Twist it out. And come back to center. Counter twist the other way. And coming back to center. And now finding our cow face pose on this side. And so finding the stacking of the knees. That's the first step, and just soften. Melt them down. Bring the awareness and the understanding that they're going to be different. And just find the breath. And come back to your mantra. Again, you can come forward if you haven't already. If you need a little more sensation, it's all on your body. Coming back upright. And so uncrossing the legs, planting the feet wide, bringing both knees to the left side this time. Back to center, lowering down onto our back, bringing that left foot now onto the right knee, setting up for figure 4 on this side. And so knowing the difference, trying all your stages. Remember, you can always bring the block under the foot, use your strap, relax the shoulders, we'll soften the face, and stay with the breath. And just feel the support from Mother Earth on your back. About 4 to 5 more breaths. See where you can soften, relax your face, remove the tongue from the roof of the mouth. We're going to release release our bind, start to lower the right foot down, pull the left knee in, extend your right leg long. And so the left hand goes out, that left shoulder is going to stay down on the ground as we cross the knee over the body. Again, if you want to try to extend that leg, keep that foot flexed. It's not about bringing the foot down to the ground. We want to keep our hips stacked, but we want to keep the shoulders on top of one, or our shoulders down on the ground. We come back to center, pulling that knee back in. And start to hover the right foot up off the ground. Pull your nose to your knee. Again, try to keep the leg straight. Reach your arms forward and just reach up towards the feet. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull both knees in, relax back. And just rock side to side. And so planting the feet down right in line with our hips. And just one last bridge pose. So arms down by the side, or you can bend the elbows for robot arms. Take the time, tuck your shoulders under. And now ground down through the heels, lift the hips, push into the elbows, lift the upper back a little more. And so working with our breath, using the glutes here. Inhale to lift a little higher. Exhale, we lower to a hover. Lift, lower, lift, lower. 4 more. Lift, lower. 3, 2, 1. Grabbing our black, bringing it underneath our hips, underneath our sacrum. And when you're ready and you're supported, sending the legs to the sky. And so you can be really passive in this pose. This is all about the circulation. So you can relax the legs, especially if your hamstrings are really tight. Or if you want a little more hamstring stretch, flex your feet and think about the heels coming up, pulling the belly in, pulling the legs in a little bit more. And so it's completely up to you. And coming back to your breath, close your eyes. About 10 steady breaths here, repeating that mantra to yourself. If you forgot it, create a new one. And just feel what it feels like to have your back and your head grounded and supported in the lightness in the legs and the feet. Allowing them to have a break after all of the hard work they do for us all day long. They just support our body without being asked. And so just honoring them in this pose here. See if you can feel that lightness. We're going to carefully start to lower the feet back down to the ground so that we can remove the black from underneath our hips. And pull the knees into the chest. And whether it's just a compression and staying still, or whether you want to rock side to side, whatever feels good for you here. And now pull your nose up towards your knee. Give yourself a big squeeze. Make yourself as small as you can in this little ball. saying thank you, I love you, I'm so grateful my body still moves the way it does. One more breath in. And as you're ready, opening up, Shavasana, relax down. Just a couple moments here, lying down with your eyes closed, soaking up all of the goodness you just did in your body. Let it acclimate. Feel the ground completely support you while you just melt down. Come back to your natural rhythm of breath. And begin to deepen your breath again. And coming back to the inhale of 3 or 4. And exhale to match. And start to wiggle the fingers, wiggle your toes, roll your wrists, your ankles. And as you're ready, making your way to your favorite side, the position of rebirth, honoring ourselves here, giving ourselves just a moment to be grateful for all that we were able to do, be grateful for taking this time out of our day for ourselves, being grateful for our body and that we love it enough to keep making it better and better. And press into your arms, coming up to a comfortable seat, sitting up nice and tall. Just like we began class, and take a moment to notice how you feel. Notice if you were able to open up any areas, if you were able to let go of anything, and where do you feel stronger? Let's bring our hands together at our heart center. The light in me honors and respects that same light that shines bright in each and every one of you. We raise our thumbs to our forehead center. Out of respect for one another in this ancient practice, together we bow and say, Namaste. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I got a little tongue-tied in there, but it's real life. This is what it is. This is the practice of yoga. We breathe through it, we work through it, and we move forward. And so I hope you enjoyed this practice. I would love feedback from you on what you thought. If you enjoyed the video, if you could hear me, anything that you have to offer, please don't be shy. Don't hesitate to share. It benefits me all the way. I love growth. I love improvement, and I want to know how I can serve you all better. And so thank you again. Have a wonderful evening.